Alright, Matt Martin here, and we're looking at the expanding West in U.S. history, and more particularly, we're going to examine the life lessons that we can learn and apply in our lives from the earliest settlers in the western part of the United States. So what can we learn from Western expansion? The first people to the West, they didn't settle for an average life in the eastern part of the United States. They did not settle for poverty. They did not settle for working in a factory or living in a small apartment. They wanted something better for themselves. And there's a lot we can learn from that. In the United States, we have won the jackpot to be born in America. You can create the life that you want in America. But it takes consistent work and improvement through time. You have to be honest with yourself. But we can learn from the very first people, in the first mountain men to go to the West, and the people that believed in manifest destiny, the idea that Americans should rule from coast to coast. They were creating their own lives. They were not victims. They were not accepting less than what they desired. They used creativity and honest feedback to make a life that they wanted. You don't have to know the whole plan. These first people went out west with manifest destiny. They didn't know how they were going to survive in the West. They did not have a total idea of what it was going to take to make it out to Oregon, in the Oregon country, or the mountain men, how to find the furs and completely survive in the mountains. They just took the first step. They did the best plan they could and took the first step. They loaded up the wagon from Independence, Missouri, and went west. And from that point forward, they'd done the best research they could, but they had to make adjustments along the way. They had to solve problems along the way. But as they went west, they built momentum. If you take the first step in life, you will build momentum, and that momentum will lead to great success. But you have to take the first step, and then the next step, and the next step after that. If you think about it, momentum is one of the most powerful things in life, and the earliest settlers capitalized on that. Another life lesson we can again learn from the Oregon Trail. The pioneers changed their lives with just 2 simple steps, and with these 2 steps, you can change your life as well. The first step is in the mind. The pioneers created a vision of a better life. They didn't accept living in the city. They didn't accept not having land or living in poverty or not living the best life possible. They had to think of how they can make this better. They had to have the thought of something that was better was possible. So many people today just accept the life that they have. They're not completely happy with it, but they just accept this is the way it's going to be. The pioneers did not do that. They wanted something better. They believed that they could create a better life for themselves. They used their ideas and their imagination to figure out how to do that, and the ideas that came to mind were, let's go to the West, let's go to Oregon, let's go to this land that Lewis and Clark had created. And the ideas and imagination are the first step, but it's just wishful thinking if you don't take action. You have to take persistent, that means every day, continuous action towards your goals and desires to be successful. If you have a thought and idea and you take persistent action, some type of success is almost inevitable. And so the pioneers, that's what they did. They believed that they could settle in Oregon, the first Western explorers. Let's go to Oregon. We heard it's great. It's going to be much more prosperous out there than it was in the East. But we got to go out there. So they have to have the idea. So they had the idea. Then they planned. They had a vision for what kind of life they wanted to create. Then they took persistent action. They raised the money, the $600 it took to buy the oxen and the carriage. They went to Independence, Missouri. They crossed Kansas. They crossed the mountains. And each step along the way, they were building momentum towards their goal. And eventually, most of them made it out to Oregon or California or wherever they were going, and they prospered. And they didn't just prosper; their children prospered, and their children's children prospered, and they still have this great nation doing that. You think about the people that went to the West. Some of the people that went to the West went to escape problems in their lives. The Mormons, they were discriminated against. They were persecuted against. And again, they would not accept this. They believed in what they wanted to believe. They had their Book of the Mormon. They had the ideas from Joseph Smith. And they had the leadership of Brigham Young. And they wouldn't accept a life of persecution in the East. So they just kept moving farther and farther west. They would not let other people's opinions stop them. They did not let obstacles stop them. They went out west. They went to Utah and took it one step at a time. and they planted positive seeds for their church and their community. You know, a positive seed is when you do something positive, you have a positive idea that's going to grow throughout time. And if you expect your seeds to grow and you do persistent work toward them, they're going to grow to something that is successful. You can plant negative seeds as well through negative action, negative ideas, hatred, fear, and negative things will grow in your life as well. The seeds are going to grow one way or another, but you have to choose which type of seeds you're planting. So I encourage you to plant positive seeds like the Mormons did. And then they had to demonstrate faith. You know, after you plant those seeds, you have to have faith that they're going to grow over time with your persistent action and your belief that you can create the success that you want. You know, sometimes you're going to have to show courage. You're going to have to take reasonable risks. You know, the pioneers, they didn't, and the Mormons and the mountain men and all the Western explorers, they didn't know that everything was going to go well. There was no guarantees, and some people did die. Some people did struggle. There were times of hardship, but they kept the faith that they're in their dream, their goal, and in their God and their beliefs that good things were going to happen if they kept tending to their positive seeds, their positive ideas, and take positive action. By demonstrating that courage, many, the Mormons have thrived in Utah. People of Oregon and California have thrived because of the beliefs and steps that they took. Talk about the Alamo down in Texas. You know, at the Alamo, about 200 Texans, led by Davy Crockett, took on 2,000 to 3,000 Mexican soldiers in a mission. When a mission is not even a fort, it's like a church, government, administrative building. And they showed tremendous courage. They could have ran away. Santa Anna told them to run away. He said, "Go, leave, submit." They would not submit. They would not run away. And through their courage and their fighting, they held out for 2 weeks, even though they're outnumbered 10 to 1 or more. Eventually, they ran out of weaponry and bullets, and they, perished. All of them perished. They all died, but their cause, because of the courage they showed, was just reinforced. People said, "Remember the Alamo," when they went to fight back later. And the Texans eventually fought back, and they eventually captured Santa Anna, and they eventually won their independence from Mexico. They eventually became their own nation. They eventually joined the United States and have thrived in one of our most thriving and successful states. So these people, they were true to what they believed in, and they stood up for themselves. And although Davy Crockett and others were slaughtered at the Alamo, their legacy is the courage they showed inspired many others. Now, how can we apply it to our life? Now, I'm not expecting you to make a stand against 2,000 soldiers, but, it takes courage in this world to be yourself. Everybody wants everyone to conform and be just like that, especially, in schools and things like that. But you need to be yourself. Have courage. Believe what you believe in, but test your beliefs. Don't just believe things because your parents tell you or your friends tell you or you saw it on TV. You need to look at both sides of everything you believe and then come up with your own truth. But when you know your truth, stand up for it. Believe in yourself. Be the person that you want to be, and don't let other people change you. I think that's what real courage is. Life lesson. Now, as we go farther, as we sell the West, the negative seeds that were planted by our forefathers started coming out. And these negative seeds continued to grow and grow and grow. You can't ignore problems in life. You need to, at some point, focus on how can I stop and solve the problem. If you ignore problems, they're going to grow and grow and grow. But the problem is most people focus on just the problem. What you really need to focus on, you need to recognize the problem, but then you need to focus on solutions. How can we solve that problem? Don't be a whiner and complainer in life. Solve your problems. Look for solutions. You'll find them. Unfortunately, our nation, we had the problem of slavery at this time, and as the people went west, the issue of slavery continued to grow and grow, and it was tearing the country apart. Why? Because our forefathers didn't get rid of slavery when they wrote the Constitution. They didn't deal with the problem, so the problem grew, and it led to 600,000 people plus dying in the Civil War, 100 years of extra slavery, another 100 years of hatred. I mean, our country's a great country, but imagine if our forefathers would have found a solution to their biggest problem, slavery, early on as we wrote the Constitution. Life lesson as we think about Mexican-American War. Americans won because of good leadership and better technology and innovation and developing new ideas, the flying cannon, etc. And, leadership is so important. A good leader is worth thousands of ordinary men. someone that can inspire other and make other people to be leaders, that's what you want to be. A collection of leaders is a powerful force. There don't need to be one leader in a group. Hopefully everyone is a leader. A leader is someone that can inspire themselves, hold themselves accountable, and inspire others. Those who are willing to innovate and change will have a huge advantage, do have a huge advantage. Be open to change. Be open to new ideas. You want to look at, where is my profession going 10 years from now? Where is this country going 5, 10 years from now? Where am I going 5, 10 years from now? And you want to be on the cutting edge of that change for true success. Think about the gold rush. 1,000 people go out west looking for gold, and some of the first people did get gold, and they got rich. They had the idea they wanted riches, and they did persistent effort. They went out there to California, they worked hard in the mines, and they made money, and they found their fortune. But sometimes the success comes in unexpected ways. Lots of people went out to California and didn't get rich off of gold. They thought they were going out there for gold, but they found riches in other ways. Levi Strauss, innovation in pants, created the jean, makes a company that still exists today. People made riches in California not just from gold, but from offering goods and services to people looking for gold. So, a lot of people that went out to California weren't successful in the way they thought they were, but from their persistent effort and action and ideas, they found the riches they were looking for. So, if you want more, be better. Contribute more to society. The more you can contribute to society, the more you're going to have, the more respect, more love, more everything that you have. Be the best that you can be. And, if you want to do better, if you want to have more, do better.